welcome to the Linux Cast. I'm your host, Matt.
I'm Drew.
I'm Tyler.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. No, Josh, stop pinging me during the podcast. I have streamer mode enabled. I just happen to see it. Stop that, douchebag. You know it's true. You do that every time. All right, anyways. Welcome to the Linux Cast. Welcome to Season 9. Like, seriously, 9 seasons of the Linux Cast. We're still going strong. It's awesome to be here with you guys. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, but it's time to kick off 2025 in fashion. We have our prediction show, and we have never been wrong on a prediction, ever. Ever. It's just never happened. So we've been 100% right. So just a little bit of a backstory. So I've been podcasting since 2009. My friends and I do a podcast. We started off with technology. Now we do movies and TV shows and comic books. And every year we will do a prediction show. We've been doing it since 2009. And recently we started predicting one of our predictions at the end. We predict someone who probably won't die, that they will die the next year. So it got a little bit morbid. I'm just saying. But anyways, we're not going to predict any deaths. I don't think I saw any deaths anyways. But we're going to predict the future. But first, we're going to go around and talk about what we've done in the last few weeks on Linux and open source and all that stuff. And then we'll talk about last year's predictions, because Tyler and I were 100% accurate. And then we'll make 2025's predictions. So that's a little bit of an outline for you guys. Let's go ahead and go around the horn and talk a little bit about what we've done since we last saw each other. So Drew, what you been up to?
Well, it was a lovely holiday. I don't know if everybody had the same holiday experience, but for me and us in Florida, fantastic. Just hoping you and yours had the same beautiful experience. So in the last week, though, Matt, I've done 2 live streams, which I've never done before, and may not do again. I'm just saying. But overall, it was a lot of fun. Spent about an hour and a quarter on each live stream, and I think, and you were gracious enough to show up, and there was about 60 people in the live stream. And so that was pretty shocking and pretty cool. At the same time, I did one a couple days later, and I think the top was about 25 thereabouts. And, but it was fun. It's been a fun, and I haven't put any new content out. So this kind of like falls into that content category that I haven't even touched for the last month. So if I'm going to do something, I might as well do something live and see what shakes out from it.
You did very well for your first live stream, Drew. My first live stream was atrocious, and there's a reason why I don't do live streams actually all that often anymore. Just not very good at it. Also, I'm highly jealous of the fact that you had 60 people on your first one. I think I had 2 on my first one. So, granted, it was very early days. Also, then they got more popular, and I did a Gen 2 live stream. So if you really want a lot of people, come do a Gen 2 live stream. But don't follow the chat on how to do it, because there are 9 different ways to do it, and they'll all tell you a different way. It just did not work at the end. And
I will say that I had 2 people that I was really, really appreciative of that were in the chat on Saturday, the one that you missed, Matt, and it was Jake at Linux and the Linux Dabbler, Mike from Linux Dabbler, who I haven't seen or heard from in 2 years.
Oh,
and he was there, and I said, Mike, where the heck have you been? Anyway,
please
I tried
make videos again, man.
Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, that was cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it's always very gratifying to see people in the chat, especially famous YouTubers. Like every once in a while, DT will show up in the chat. Like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, what about you? What you been up to?
Not much, to be honest. I've been doing a little bit with the Hugo website, which isn't like it's necessarily new to me, but I do really enjoy messing around with Hugo. I don't know. Markdown is such a beautiful way to write a website, and not like anyone that's ever worked with just HTML. Fucking, it can suck. It can suck really bad sometimes. Like it really is hard to read. It's hard to manage, and with Markdown, it's very simple and there's no real work to it. So I really like that. But that's pretty much all I've really done at the computer lately. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with Hugo. I don't know if either of you guys really mess around with Hugo that much, but it's fun.
Yeah. So the website for the Linux cast is Hugo. My personal site is WordPress, and I have many regrets about that decision. But I've paid for a BPS, so I'm going to use it for at least 4 years. Yeah. That was a choice. Let me just put that.
That was a choice.
Yeah, it wasn't the right choice, but it was a choice. So let's see. I have been slowly re-entrenching myself in a different operating system, preparing for my next move in July. Now, I know, Matt, what kind of preparedness do you need to switch to a different distro 7 months away? Well, I'm not going to tell you. It's a little bit of a tease. My next so I decided that what I want to do after my 2-year challenge on OpenSUSE ends is to do another 2-year challenge. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm going to stay on OpenSUSE," which I'd be very happy doing, and I may still come back to it as my regular distro someday. I don't know. I love it, and there's nothing really wrong with it, but I've enjoyed having the challenge of learning OpenSUSE, like is a really deep down, like you use something for 2 years, you're going to learn how to use that thing really, really well. And I've done that with OpenSUSE. I've learned all the ins and outs of it, and it's been great. So I figured I could have just as much fun doing something else. So after I'm done with this in July, I'll be doing another one. But I wanted to start a little bit early just because the distro that I chose, which I have made a choice, it takes a little setup and a little learning, and I don't want to start from zero in July. So the laptop that no one can actually see because my camera is so damn zoomed in that you can't actually see the cool background that I set up actually is running the distro that I chose. So anyways, that's what I've been doing. But it's very cryptic. I'm sure someone will guess it. Anyways, that's basically what I've been doing. Other than that, I've been reading a lot. Like I think I've read 6 books in the last 2 weeks. So I've been kind of on a roast. The one I started yesterday, maybe the day before, is Ready Player One. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, the book.
Yeah, it's a very good book, man.
Now, wait, hold on. I do have to ask: have you seen the movie before you watched it, or
I don't really watch new movies. All my movies that I watch are old because the only time I ever watch movies is for the other podcast, and we always watch older movies. So
I would. Because you're going to read the book, and I'm somebody who messed up. According to a lot of people, I messed up. I watched the movie and then read the book. So I would be very interested to see your opinions on the movie if you ever watch it after reading the book.
We'll see. I don't know, because I don't really watch movies, but if I were to, movies just constantly disappoint me. I'm very, very picky when it comes to movies, and specifically acting of certain like I can enjoy a very badly acted movie. Like Jason Statham doesn't have a single movie where he's good in it. Like he's just not a good actor. But I like some of his movies. But on the other hand, actors who are supposed to be really, really good, but then turning constant stinkers all the time, just bug the crap out of me. So, although I will say that we watched the first 2 John Wick movies for the podcast last year. Those are pretty good. But again, Keanu Reeves couldn't act his way out of a bucket. I mean, that man is Keanu Reeves in every movie. I mean, like he has only one speaking style, and it's Keanu Reeves. And like he couldn't play a different character if he wanted to. It's just he's Keanu Reeves. That's what it is. All right. Anyways, that's completely off topic. So, anyways. That's what I've been doing. That's what we've been doing. We're going to change it up a little bit this year, where we'll only be doing this type of section every 3 weeks. Next week we'll be doing news. We'll do a news link each, and then the week after that we'll move the Nuggies section to the front of the show and do Nuggies to begin with, and then we'll rotate between those 3 things. That way the podcast has a little bit of freshness to go along with it, and we don't all have to struggle to figure out what we've done this week on Linux, because sometimes you just don't do anything Linux. You just work your ass off on your regular job, or, Tyler's went and got himself a life, So sometimes you just don't do shit with Linux. So, and that makes this first part of the show really lame when saying, I didn't really do anything this week. Okay, moving on. All right. Sometimes that just happens. Anyway, so before we jump into 2025, we have to look back on 2024 And that means we're going to have to talk about the predictions that Tyler and I made last week. Now, last year, it was just Tyler and I doing the podcast. So, really quickly, we'll go over 2024's predictions. We'll do Tyler's first because I'm sure he was 100% right. So, Hyperland will become the new Arch. I don't know what the context of this was. I'm assuming you mean
the most everyone's using Arch, so it's turned into a meme. Everyone's using Hyperland, so it's turned into a meme. Which I feel like I nailed that one on the head. Yeah.
I think you cheated because I'm pretty sure this was already true when you made the prediction, but sure.
I think you did point that out at the time. It's pretty much already there.
Like, this is already true. You're just wanting the point so that you win. Okay. All right. And your second prediction was NixOS will be what I use the entire year. Tyler, what are you using right now?
I am using Pop! OS on a server and Windows because I need VR stuff to work. So no, this is not at all happening.
That is so predictable. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. You stayed with NixOS way longer than I thought you would. Like, prior to NixOS, you hopped like every week.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. This might sound completely insane to some people out there. The only reason I'm not using NixOS right at this moment is when I went to go do an install of ZanyOS and update my system, I found out that the NixOS developers renamed every single NotoFonts package. So, yeah, no, I'm out.
So you're saying the next version of ZanyOS is forthcoming because somebody's got to maintain that shit. You know,
I will push out an update when I have literally nothing better to do at all.
So see ya.
Hey, someone else is gonna have to buy that. Hey, where's D-Dubs? D-Dubs uses it, so maybe it could become D-Dubs OS.
Well, just so we're clear, D-Dubs does have his own version of ZanyOS that he made for his system. So technically speaking, his is probably more up to date than mine is right now.
So there you go. We'll figure out how to link that in the show. All right. So my predictions were both good and bad. I think the second one I'll get a point on, but we'll see. So the first one was that Canonical will roll out the official Ubuntu Immutable distro. That didn't happen. They're still working on it, but it's not been made like, here, everyone go use this thing that has all snaps. At least as far as I know, I didn't see anything about that. So no points for me there. My second one, and this was the easiest fucking prediction to make in the history of the world.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
Like, seriously, I looked at, I'm pretty sure I came up with this after Tyler did the whole Hyperland will become Arch thing just because I wanted a point. But I said Plasma 6 will be buggy beyond beliefs, yet people will like it anyway, which is exactly what happened. Surprise, surprise. That's horrible. I hope I did better this year. I don't even remember what I made. I hope I did better. Yeah, so we tied 1-1, I believe, Tyler. So nobody wins. Nobody wins. Everybody loses. Yep, that's okay. All right, so we're going to move on to 2025. And we'll do one each, and then we'll just rotate around until we're all done. Okay, so I will go first and say that Red Hat will piss off the FOSS world again by making something proprietary. Now, I wasn't specific on this because I don't know enough about what Red Hat does in terms of what they have full control over, what they could actually make proprietary other than RHEL. And I don't think that it will be RHEL itself, because that would be, not good and would probably ruin everything for them. But I think something that they have uber control over, they'll either put behind a paywall or they'll make it proprietary or something this year, and it will piss everyone off once again. But in the end, just like the last time they did it, there'll be no consequences because nobody cares. So that's my first one. Red Hat will piss off. I feel like this is an easy point because they piss people off every year. So I think an easy point. So Drew, your first one.
2025 container technologies like Docker, Podman, and similar tools will move beyond being niche solutions for developers and Linux enthusiasts. It will become mainstream, widely used by business and even everyday users, and deploying and managing applications. So because of that, containers and cloud native growth, shout out to George Castro and the in the chat. Containers make it easy to package apps and run them anywhere from the cloud to personal devices. As more companies adopt cloud native workflows, containers will be a part of everyday IT operations.
Okay,
You know what's scary about you bringing up this point? I'm pretty sure not too long ago, I heard, I don't know if it's Netgear, like that makes like Nighthawks and all that stuff, but it was a pretty popular router company, and they're making like it's kind of like a hybrid between a router and a NAS, where it's got like quite a bit of decent storage on it, an extra storage slot, but it's built to be a router, but to also house a whole bunch of like services, like self-hosted services. So, yeah, you might just get that one.
I have a question though, as the one who doles out the points and will do so again next year. How do you plan on proving that this happened?
Yeah, I don't really care.
So what we're supposed to do is just assume that you're right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the win right now, man. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like that. Oh god, there was like a movie where like a little kid where they were playing a card game, and the card game was I win. The little kid just win. I win. So that's gonna be true next year. I win. We didn't have to go through it. Just he wins. Oh man, that. Well, that would be something to look forward to.
If we're being completely honest, like the most G thing that I think I've heard on this podcast in a long time was that I don't care. Like, I'm getting it. Doesn't matter.
You know what? I could say the most outlandish thing right now, and it may end up being like the only thing I get correct next year. You know, who knows?
That one's not outlandish, though. I
don't
think
think
that was
so
a pretty
either.
solid bet.
All right.
My thing for this year, my first prediction is that Mozilla will launch 2 products this year that mean absolutely nothing, go nowhere, and have a total of maybe 250 users. That's my safe bet for this year. I don't know if any of you guys have looked at Mozilla's track record, but if I fail this one, Mozilla's having a killer year.
All right, just before we move on, just real quickly, Tyler, remember if you'd send me your 3 predictions like in text form sometime before you log off,
yes.
I'd appreciate that. Yes. Either that or just log into the server and put them in there somewhere. That way I don't forget. Yeah, Mozilla's definitely going to do that, by the way. Especially now that, did you guys see that like the Linux Foundation, I think it was Linux Foundation, partnered up with Google to like partially take over Chromium or something like that. That's gonna seriously threaten Mozilla. They'll become desperate and they'll start throwing literally even more spaghetti at the wall to try to be relevant, because they just, that 400 million or whatever they bring in from Google is going away. Like they all knew it, but like very soon that's gonna be gone. So yeah. All right, so everyone just pretend that I'm Nate. Hi, y'all. Sorry. That's so horrible. I'm so gonna. I can't believe I did that.
Wow.
I don't have a southern accent. All right, so I have a southern accent. It is really, really bad. So it was really bad. I could have said. I made everybody laugh. That was the point. Nate, wow. Sorry, man. It could have been worse. I could have said something about cows or Pop OS sucks. That's what I should have went with, Pop OS. Anyways, Nate's first one was more gamers will leave Windows for Linux due to a lot of the new Ryzen handhelds are pushing for SteamOS to be the main OS. All right, let me see if I can put this into more gamers will leave Windows for Linux due to a lot of the new Ryzen handhelds, which are pushing for SteamOS to be the main OS. Okay, so more SteamOS handhelds will come out, and that will cause more gamers to leave Windows. I think that's what he means. Okay. So that was Nate's first one. Nate, you want to know what? Screw the floors. Be on the podcast. I'm just saying. And then we can all avoid me attempting to do a cowboy podcast or a cowboy accent. That was pathetic. All right. Anyways, I get to go again. Mine was also about Steam. So Steam will fix the anti-cheat this year. Something major, whether it's getting existing anti-cheat to work on Linux or making something new and forcing game devs to use it. They will do something to fix the online gaming problem that they currently have. I truly honestly believe that this is something that they're working on, because they can't have SteamOS be a success if big games that are online games, which is like the ones that get the most attention and the ones that make the most money, can't run on their platform. So anti-cheat is going to get fixed this year. I know that Valve runs really slow in terms of doing stuff, but this has to be done. So there you go. Drew, your second one, please.
Linux is going to crush it when it comes to supporting all kinds of hardware this year, making it even better choice for both hardcore users and everyday folks. Linux is already versatile, running everything from tiny gadgets to massive supercomputers, and ARM processors is going to be the adoption of ARM processing and it running on Linux as a native is going to get really, really stinking good this year. So whether you're a tech enthusiast, a gamer, or just someone looking for an OS that works with your hardware, Linux is going to become the answer. And so it'll support everything from cutting edge chips to everyday peripherals, and making it the only solution going forward because of the hardware.
Okay.
And that's the first time that's happened. Hardware is going to be the answer.
Drew, did you put like a whole prospectus of why? You have like a 500-word essay on one.
Yeah, I didn't want to read it verbatim. That just is lame. I kind of just tried to synopsize.
Okay. Tyler, and to you, Nate, in the chat, do you guys ever get a feeling that Drew's trying to make us look bad? I'm just saying.
No, I have a feeling that he has like, to me, he has the, like, Drew, you have the entire personality of like a professor who like has a whole bunch of shit that is very useful to say, and like I'm the student who's like, yeah, sure, I can fill out a paper too, and like when I turn it in, I see yours, and I'm like, oh god. I'm getting a D this year.
Drew had...
I broke the curve. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying that was way more effort than I would have ever put into it. So good job, Drew. Now I feel bad. That's okay, though, because next year there'll be no quibbling about the context of your prediction. You have that linked there. And that way, after you say you win because of the first one, you can at least point to the second one and say, hey, I have all this context. Okay.
I'm here to ensure that Matt never feels bad about his answers, because mine has to do with SteamOS. And for everyone that's watching, just so you know, for context, I didn't get to see anybody else's predictions. I didn't actually check or have time. So mine's about SteamOS 2. It's kind of a little bit different because I don't think Nate's wasn't about directly SteamOS, right? It was just that Steam will become like more popular.
No, well, yeah, basically, yeah. He said that more gamers will leave Windows for Linux due to a lot more options in terms of hardware.
So my actual prediction is that SteamOS will become a major part of the Linux user base. The main reason I'm making that prediction is because not just here lately, but for quite a while now, there's been other projects making SteamOS work on regular desktop devices, but now Valve themselves are even talking about releasing SteamOS, it being put on desktops. So I have a feeling that like mine kind of goes along with Nate's here. Like, not only do I think Steam will get more popular and people will leave Windows for it, but I think the user base of Linux will be a majority of SteamOS users just using it to game, not really for the Linux aspect of it. I have a prediction that this one's kind of sketchier on the end, but I have a feeling it's going to be more popular.
Okay, so Nate's next one is going to go right along with that one, is that we will see a beta release of SteamOS as a normal gamer Linux distro. I'm assuming what he means is an ISO, which they've actually said will be coming in the next few weeks. So Nate's going to get a point there for sure. So good. My third one, and I believe I asked for 3, right? Make sure I did ask for 3 because Nate put in 4. Overachiever. My third and final one is that in the irony of all ironies, Microsoft will bring AI in some form or fashion to Linux. And what I mean about this is a consumer-facing AI app in some form or fashion. Whether that's building it into Teams, which will probably already happen, which I don't think will actually count towards this prediction because Teams is just an Electron app, so it's not really a Linux application. But I think that they will bring some form of AI to Linux this year. Now, I don't know why I thought this at the time, but it feels like something. They've become more pro Linux in the last few years. Obviously, AI is the next thing for them, and it just feels like something that they would do. Some random person at Microsoft will think this is a good idea. I'm not saying it's going to be like a big deal or anything, at least for Microsoft, just that there be some kind of AI tool that works on Linux that comes directly from the Microsoft boys. There you go. Those are my three. Drew, your third one.
So Windows 10 is ending its support in October of this year, 2025. And many users are going to find themselves in a tough spot. And Windows 11 is a shit show. When it comes right down to it, and the strict hardware requirements will leave some people stuck with their older machines. And so upgrading may not be an option. So here's the prediction. Linux will double in market share this year. We'll go from 5 to 10% of the market in the next 11 months.
That is an ambitious prediction, and I like it.
That's Babe pointing towards the end of the park and then swinging. Only this one is going to be a swing and a miss.
But here's the thing. If I get this one right, I'm going to win. I win automatically.
If he gets this one, he gets all the points, okay?
I will concede. If you get this one right when we do the predictions next year, I will concede all of my. I'll be like, I don't care if I get them right. He gets the points for him. Like he deserved them.
Which, that's cool. No,
my next one, there's no chance I'll get.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just hope.
Tyler, your third one.
My third one is that Bing will die. Officially, like they will kill it off as a project. I see this totally not happening, never happening. However, one can hope. Take that poor broken horse outside, put it down. It is literally a chromium skin with a built-in AI that literally every single anybody that's ever used Windows knows. You go into Edge, and you go in there, you turn off the Bing AI assist. Like, who needs? Ew, gross. No one needs that. And Bing just shouldn't exist. The engine that you use to get there, Edge should also die, but that's a whole separate topic. Bing as a search engine will die.
So isn't it interesting that all of our third predictions are Microsoft based? Isn't that?
I didn't even think about that.
Isn't that interesting?
We're like the person from high school that was slighted and not picked for the club or whatever, that holds their grudge for their entire lives and just can't get over it, right? Like Microsoft has been stealing our lunch for our entire lives and we just can't get over it. All right. Nate has two of them, so I'll just go ahead and cover them both here quickly. He says that System 76's Cosmic DE will be moved into beta and ready for full release in 2026. I feel like Nate sat down and decided, you know what? I'm going to win, so I want all the points. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you go for the easy ones. They'll for sure get to beta this year. Like, it would be really odd if they didn't get to beta this year. In fact,
I think they're going to get to release candidate this year. Honestly, I think that they're going to get to that point.
It should be a full-fledged release. Is what I don't know, but even like it should. If I just had a standalone prediction, I think that Cosmic will be out by Christmas. Like,
okay,
100% out. Now, will it be good? I don't know. I think it'll be pretty good, but it won't be feature complete because that's going to take years and years. I think at a certain point you can only be working on something for so long, and people still care about it. So, in order for them to keep the attention on it, because the first alpha or whatever came out and everybody was like, "That's great, right?" And every consecutive alpha, that really less attention will be paid onto it by normal people who don't normally care, right? So the longer they draw that out, the less attention it's going to get. So I mean, I don't know, maybe they don't care about that, and maybe that's just me. But anyways, his fourth one is, I think this is similar to what you said about ARM.
Yeah, it
Drew.
is.
He said,
Actually, it is.
We'll start seeing more ARM compatibility for Linux due to ARM laptops becoming mainstream. So I think that's also a pretty good one. I don't see a 500 word prospectus there, so I'm just saying.
I know what he meant. He's good.
Okay, let's see here. So I believe that's everyone. Everyone got all three of those, right? Everybody's went through. Okay, good. That stuff always goes faster than what I expected to, which is good. So what we're going to do next is move on to the Nuggies of the week, everybody. So our first Nuggies of 2025, season 9, are going to be spectacular. Now, for those of you who have never watched before, the end of the show, now this won't always be true because, like I said, sometimes we'll be doing the Nuggies at the beginning, which will freak everyone out, including me. But what we do is at the end, we come up with something that we'd like to share with you guys. It could be an app, it could be a tip, it could be a trick, it could be whatever we want. And we share it with you guys. We call them Nuggies because my friends hate me, and I hate that word. It is the worst word ever, but
we love you and you know it.
It's like the word moist. No one likes it. It's the stupidest word, and it sounds horrible. But what you gonna do? So that's the reason why we call it the Nuggies Week. So now we're gonna actually move into the Nuggies of the week. So Drew, your Nuggie of the week.
So Peek, P-E-E-K, not the other way you spell Peek, but P-E-E-K. You can install it just using the Debian packages. It is designed specifically for capturing short screen recordings and turning them into animated GIFs or GIFs. Which do we like better? Okay, so basically, it's a way to record a short and make it an animated GIF, and with very minimal fuss.
I've used that before. It is really good. Does it work on? You probably don't. Maybe you don't know this because you don't use Wayland. But does it work on Wayland?
I'm using I'm using it on DWM. So what would I know?
I figured that was a silly question, but I had to ask it. So I don't use Wayland anyway, so I don't know why I cared, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you have a Nuggie of the week for us?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
Mine was WebCord. Just in case anyone doesn't know, if you're using a Wayland system or anything like that, Discord's acting up, which used to be more of a problem, but now it should be fine. If you want to use WebCord, it's essentially just the web version of Discord, but with some better privacy settings and more levels of customization. And I recommend that if you're having problems using Discord on Linux, like if just for any reason the Discord app itself is giving you a hard time, WebCord typically will solve all of your issues and can be much more customizable if you know what you're doing. So, and also one of the reasons I typically will recommend WebCord as an alternative to Discord, for one, it's the same thing, but also too, it's one of the few alternative apps for the desktop version of Discord that doesn't break TOS. So all the other options, there's kind of a vague chance that you could be banned from Discord just for using that app. With WebCord, it is, again, just literally the web version of Discord with some better choices made. So it's not actually breaking TOS. So recommend that one.
A good choice. All right, so Drew, I chose this without remembering that this is what you rave about. So I had no clue. This is what you use to edit your videos?
Yes, it is.
That's weird. So
yes, it is.
So for Christmas, I got the entire 14-season compilation DVD of NCIS LA. And now this is a show that I used to watch way back then, but lost track of because there's just, not time in the day. But anyways, I have no use of having DVDs just sitting around. I would hate having to switch to the next DVD when I wanted to do it. So I had a little DVD player that I could connect to my computer. It was garbage. It didn't work anymore. Not surprising. It was 20 years old. So I bought an enclosure and an actual 3.5 inch or 5.5 inch, 5.25 inch, whatever, Blu-ray player for my computer, and I needed something to rip the DVDs to my computer. And I thought about Handbrake, but Handbrake is really kind of overly complicated until you kind of get used to it. It's not too bad once you get there, but you open it up and there's no, like, where do I go first? What do I do? I needed something that was uber simple. I just plop the thing in and hit a button and it goes. And someone, I'm not sure who, I'm sorry if you're watching and you don't, I forgot your name. Someone recommended Make MKV, and I remember I had no clue that this was what Drew was talking about. I thought you were talking about like a terminal application or something.
Go ahead, sorry.
But anyways, I found this and it really works. You just press the spinning disc or whatever, it does its thing. You point it at a directory, you press another button, and it rips it all. Now, you do have to go through afterwards and like put the names to the files, which is not something that is fantastic, but doable. So, yeah, I've spent the last however long ripping these things. It does take a little bit of time, but other than that, it's really, really good.
Yeah, make MKV is the only way it's like a meta package, and within that is MKV merge, which is what I use in command line, Matt, just to clear that up. So I don't necessarily use the GUI part of it, although I can. I use the terminal MKV merge command, which is part of that package. So
okay, cool. Yeah, so it's really nice. It's they have some really weird product key thing that you, like, if you wanted to buy a product key or whatever. So according to Steve, there's like a limit on how often you can use it if you don't have the product key, but they don't actually sell the product key. They just give it out every once in a while. I don't actually know anything about that. I haven't messed around with it at all, and it's worked fine. So, Steve, if you know what you're actually talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, but it worked fine for me. Anyways, that's mine. Nate did have a Nuggie of the week here for us to share. He says, Nate's house is getting new floors, total office change. So I'm assuming he's pro office flooring. Which I've seen, he showed us pictures and they look spectacular. I asked him if he was getting more monitors and he said no, which is disappointing. It seems I wanted to ask if he was sick because he has an opportunity here to sneak in a couple extra ones without his wife noticing. And the fact that he didn't take that opportunity is disappointing. I mean, he could have had 12 monitors,
Yeah, I think he's going for the ceiling monitor this time. Though.
Yeah. They just showed up, honey. I don't even know how. I might as well hook them up. I mean, all right. So, excuse me. That is season 9. So first off, let me just point this out. I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but the fact that we did this in under an hour is one of those nana boo boo kind of situations where, because I'm editing this week and I kept it under an hour for me, but when you edit, man, we're going an hour and a half. It wasn't on purpose. But anyways, this is the end of this episode. If you want to get in contact with us, the best way to do so is email at thelinuxcast.org. That is the email address. If you need to get in contact with the fellas, that's probably the easiest way to do so, at least direct contact anyways. I'll just transfer it on over to them if it's to them. Unless you're sending like personal information, don't send me personal information because I will steal your identity. I don't even know. My sense of humor has not improved since the last time we were together, boys. I'm just saying that. Anyways, you can also contact us via like Mastodon and all that stuff. You can find all that information at thelinuxcast.org/contact. Speaking of thelinuxcast.org, that is the website. There you'll find episodes all the way back to season 1, and I finished it. So you can actually go there, find all the episodes, all of season 8, season 7, all the way back to season 1, except for the first 3 episodes, which are lost forever and you're never seeing them. And but anyways, you can go there. All the videos are embedded. All of the audio is embedded the way it's supposed to be. It took me forever to do that because we've done a lot of episodes. We're rushing towards 200 episodes of this podcast, and so it took me a while to do. But anyways, those are all done. I hope to stay up ahead this time, and as we do an episode, put it up there. That way, I don't have to at the end of the season do 30 all of them at once. But we'll see. I mean, let's not get our expectations up too high. Anyways, you can also find all my previous blog posts there if you want to, linuxcast.org. Tyler has a YouTube channel. He doesn't know what it is. And then youtube.com/ZanyOG. You can go back there and see previous episodes when he was a YouTuber. So maybe he'll come back someday. Maybe he'll just leave it to his kids. Drew has a YouTube channel. He's a live streamer now. Like he's like he's finding his inner teenager. Like, next thing you know, Drew's gonna be on like TikTok or something.
Not in this country.
That's great. The quickness of the reaction is what sold it. But anyways, he's on youtube.com/JustAGuyLinux. Nate, who is not here and is getting new floors that will make us all jealous, he also has a YouTube channel. I'm beginning to believe that he also doesn't know what his login is. Because he has promised us videos, and there have been no videos. So Nate, screw the flooring, go make a video. I'm just saying. He's at Nate Picks Tech World on YouTube. Go there, subscribe. Maybe he'll make a video. Anyways, that's it for this one. We record this live every Tuesday at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to watch us live, youtube.com/LinuxCast. Subscribe, do all that stuff, hit the notification bell. You can find out when we're live. And we have a fantastic time with everybody here in the chat. Josh trolls us and tells us he wants to be on the podcast again. Maybe we can make that happen. But other than that, we have a fantastic time live. If you can't catch us live, we do post an edited version, which is basically just everything without the ums and the pre-show. So basically, well, any of the good stuff. But we post that on Saturdays. Nate, do we actually post it on Saturdays? It's been so long ago.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah, we post it on Saturdays. Saturday evenings is when we post it, and you can catch that there. Usually the audio is a little bit better. This week the audio probably will be crap because Drew is using an old operating system. I'm just gonna blame it on Debian all the time. Is this gonna happen?
Yeah, whatever.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, that's it for this one. I promise everyone, I'll make this solemn vow that I'll never ever attempt to do a southern accent again. See y'all later. All right, that was it.
That was great.